Simpsons Index, an online spreadsheet that is also a podcast. This is the podcast. Coming at you from SideQuest Studios, this is the Simpsons Index, episode 73. I am your host, Elliot Jay O'Neill, and joining me for this episode of the Simpsons Index is BT Calloway.
Hey.
And brand new guest, Oscar Morphew.
Hey, guys.
Welcome to the podcast, man.
Thank you for having me. I feel very welcome.
Absolutely. So Oscar is a Simpsons fan from way back. So we like to ask our new guests, what is your history with The Simpsons? Where did it begin?
I feel like it was never something that we watched as a family, which I feel like certain people have got those yeah, we watched it as a family. I just remember it always being on.
Yeah.
And not necessarily watching it with my family, but just always being there and always switching it over and having to watch a little bit of the news.
Yeah.
Just the end, like the weather, and then it starts.
Yep.
And it's just been that corner of my life for when it was on normal TV.
6 o'clock on Channel 10. We miss the days. These kids now with their, I don't know, streaming on...
On-demand, HD, yada,
It's
yada.
on Channel 7 now.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't know that?
I knew Channel 10 had lost. I didn't know 7 had picked it up.
7 picked it up.
Those fuckwads.
I know, right?
Yeah, new home of The Simpsons, Channel 7. Feels weird to say.
Really just gross.
I feel so dirty.
And so you haven't kept up with the new episodes over the years?
No, I bought seasons 2 to 10 on DVD, and I just keep that golden period going in my life perpetually.
Yep, and now we're about to ruin it for you.
That's right.
Hey, we didn't do this. We just brought in the message.
That's right. Well, this is the podcast where we watch and review 3 episodes of The Simpsons at a time, but the catch is each episode comes from a different decade. And starting out tonight, we subjected you to an episode from the latest season. This was season 29, episode 5, Grampy, Can You Hear Me? How have I let you down? I curse the day that I was born, and all the sorrow. No Bad Religion fans here? Never mind.
I'm just thinking that's what the episode's singing, but that's good.
I think it's another song. I don't think they're referencing Bad Religion.
No, I know they're not. I'm just talking about letting us down.
Yeah.
And all that is my point.
This was first released in November of 2017. It was written by Bill Odenkirk. In this episode, fucking a lot happens. Okay, first of all, Grandpa gets a hearing aid and starts hearing all the awful things people are saying about him. Lisa cheats on an assignment about planets and gets Bart to help her. And we find out that Skinner once applied to be in a marching band at a university, and Agnes hid the acceptance letter. Guys, what did you think?
I'm just going to call this aggressively boring.
Yep.
Like, just structurally, it doesn't
so
it's
flat.
Just, nothing.
It didn't build to anything.
Nothing goes anywhere. And there's so many jokes that are just like being thrown a baseball that makes it a third of the way there. It's like if I threw baseballs.
or a spaghetti and dodgeball.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's pretty much it. It's got all the substance of a meal of spaghetti and kickballs. Like, ugh. One of the things that strikes me about this episode is it has an A, B, and C storyline.
And yet so little happens.
Yeah.
And they needed to have a really long intro sequence and then 2 outro sequences to pad up the time.
Yeah. Bizarre.
So much with so little. It's insane.
But yeah, kicking off the question out, I want to know, BT, what's a story moment that stood out to you from this episode?
Oh, let me have a quick glance. I don't even know if any of these notes are going to be story points. They're just things I didn't understand why anything was happening. I'm going to say the continuity fuck up of Skinner being at home with Agnes during his late teen years.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting. Obviously, again, that's a plot point because that needed to be there for that storyline, but then it doesn't
why
make
did
sense.
we need that storyline?
Yeah, why do we need that storyline? Why couldn't it have been another character? And then why break the Armin Tanzarian continuity? Even if people don't like it, that's canon. And people know it's canon. So, yeah, a lot of questions around this one point. I'm going to say that was my plot point I'm going to point at very sternly.
Yeah.
I'm going to point at that plot line as though it just took a shit on the rug, and now I have to rub its nose in it so it knows it did something wrong.
That's it. And you know, I personally don't mind the principal and the pauper. I think it's a fine episode, but the fact that they established that continuity is, okay, you've made a very big move here. Run with it, you know? Yeah, the whole Skinner and marching band storyline, I wish something came out of it.
It annoyed me because I was really liking Bart and Lisa's relationship leading up to the discovery of that.
Yeah.
Like, it felt like classic.
Yeah,
like
they've partnered up.
Working together and
having a little detective mystery thing.
Yeah, and then we got to there and then we just left them for a much less interesting and continuity breaking storyline.
The story that went nowhere. And yeah, I think my favorite part of this episode is when Skinner's almost leading into the story. Is like, oh, it's such a long time ago. I don't even want to tell it. And they're like, no, that's fine. Don't tell us.
Yeah.
I got a little bit of a chuckle.
Is that a question? No, I was just stretching my arm.
Were you really stretching one arm? Well, that's the one that needed stretching.
Yeah.
Yeah, that bit I like.
Funny.
But then
I didn't mind that, but it also reminded me of South Park did it.
yeah, with I know what you mean as well.
It worked just basically. It worked as like, okay, yep. It wasn't awful.
It actually mostly worked just to palm Bart and Lisa off, really. And like the big emotional moment between Skinner and Agnes at the end was lost on me as well. Like it didn't actually feel like they had a breakthrough.
No,
she just said marching bands are shit, and Skinner's like, oh yeah, you're right.
Well, the thing is that we didn't see her in the current.
Yeah,
we only saw her in flashback. We didn't see their relationship at all to be resolved.
Yeah, from Agnes's point of view, she's been aware of the conflict and resolved it in the same minute.
Yeah.
So she had no idea there was a problem, and then it was over.
That's the secret of good drama, right?
Is avoiding conflict at all costs.
And then solving it within a minute.
Yeah, because Lisa's storyline does the exact same thing.
Yeah, well, I was going to say that's the storyline that stood out to me is because they established this as they were establishing the Skinner story, and then they forgot about it for like 12 minutes.
Oh, and the way they wrapped it up.
Yeah.
It was just like, I just had like, I've got Miss Hoover question marks, frowny face in my notes of like.
Yeah, this was another joke of, oh, Bart stole your nicotine gum and he was around the hamster, so, and then of course the hamster immediately runs his wheel outside of the cage.
Which I could have been okay with. You have to remember what we go to after that. So,
the groundskeeper Willie
the train spotting.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because early on, Bart's got this
up.
bit where, they break into the school and it's like, oh, how did you know this door was broken? Willie lets me know and I keep him in Twizzlers. But then he's like, Willie is wrapping a red licorice.
He's shooting up. He's shooting up with
he's made
licorice.
a tourniquet out of the licorice, but then he's eating it anyway, and it's kind of like, oh, that's just uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And then they cut back to this train spotting bit.
I tell you how you do that one is that he ties it up and then he eats the one that he has tied around his arm.
While
grab
he's
it in your
raking or
teeth, you're
something,
like,
so he can eat it while raking or something like that. There's a
not
better
bad.
joke.
Something.
Because, it's irrelevant. He ties it up and then eats them anyway. It's like, if you're going to...
In the other hand, it's...
Well, it's interesting. I didn't realize that was a train spotting reference. And now the music and the angle and everything. Because to me, it felt bizarre and out of nowhere. But there you go. It was a callback joke.
It's still bizarre and out of nowhere. It's just, why are we referencing train spotting all of a sudden? In fact, probably the most disturbing scene of train spotting.
Yeah. And the ending with that was Lisa goes, I'll get you some more gum. And she's like, you better. And she's 8. She can't, like...
She says, I cheated. She comes clean. She has a not really a well set up moral dilemma. No. Where it's like, we just cut back to her and she tells Miss Hoover and she's like, I know you did that. What?
Yeah.
Why does she know that?
That's absolutely right. And it's funny, it was a similar cop-out ending to the Skinner one. But Oscar, for better or worse, what's a story moment that stood out to you?
I feel like the Skinner marching band thing, even though it was so boring and didn't go anywhere, the discovery of him in the basement was interesting. That was
That's the moment we're like, oh, where's this going?
Yeah, exactly. It was an interesting story hook, and I was like, okay, I'm willing to listen, even though it didn't go anywhere. But the beginning was intriguing.
Yeah, it started from a fair enough place, and I kind of like the idea. I just didn't like where they went with it. And even like when he went to the university, that scene was just boring. And
there was no sign gag when you had the University of Ohio. I was just like, it just says established 1870. It's like.
Yeah, and we usually commend the Simpson sign writers in this day and age, because as much as the show's dipped in quality, the sign gags are still pretty good.
Yeah, whoever's doing that, they're on point. But no, you're wide open right there.
Yeah, fill it in.
Yeah.
There's jokes to be had.
Yeah, the university administrator there as well. He didn't really give any new information to the whole thing, and that's why I found that scene annoying.
Yeah, true. That did absolutely no jokes, and there was no new information in that bit. So
that was a beginning of Act 2.
Yeah.
Him going there was the beginning of Act 2, and then he'd go out and he'd discover something, and we'd go on with the story. But it was just the whole episode it all ended in the second acts
Yeah.
of the multiple storylines.
And actually, what pisses me off about that scene that started out like that, oh, can I go to school here now? No, what is this, an 80s comedy? Fine enough joke, but I'm like, no, that's your episode.
Yeah, that's going to be fun. It's like, well, we never did get that marching band drummer. You're hired.
Yeah.
Boom, now we got Skinner drumming. Something happened.
Or he's a teacher at a university level now, and then he gets to realize he always liked being a principal.
Yeah,
Or
there's a storyline.
That you could have as the end tag, and he says, "What is this? An '80s college thing?"
Yep,
and
sure.
it freeze frame, and
Don't you
Yeah.
forget about me.
like we forget about him in this thing, and then we come back, and that's the ending of him just being like sad, and then we get like a freeze frames for all the characters. You wrap it up.
Yep.
It's
Perfect. And the little title cards and stuff. Excellent. And last story point I want to mention before we move on from this question is the title of the episode. This was like 3 scenes, the whole grandpa hearing aid storyline.
Yeah. And again, there's something to be mined out of that, and they just didn't.
I think they had the right ending, though.
Yeah, I think the ending is the strongest part of that one. It's still pretty weak where they're all reading off script.
I kind of didn't mind that. And even with Homer's little gag that he's still holding the script where he's hugging them and he says, and fade out, woohoo, tag, because that's exactly how I felt when the tag came in.
totally. I felt fine with that. I was like,
I will say, he didn't actually ever feel lost when he went missing.
Yeah, like they have bits where, okay, he goes to the family, he can hear what they're actually whispering about him, and then he goes to the mall, and he can hear. But I guess it never felt like he lost anything in the sense that
no.
the family don't hang out with him to begin with. We don't really know if he likes wandering around the mall. So, having him go somewhere he likes going, finding out, oh no, everyone's actually secretly a dick.
Yes.
And then he's lost something, and you got a bit of drama. You feel
there is no plot in this episode.
I know, it's stunning.
There's no substance at
How
all.
much nothing happened. It's amazing.
And even when it feels like they're setting up something, like where Grandpa goes, they're talking about me. I'm going to continue this play. Let them think that I can't hear them. That should have been the episode.
Yeah, that's exactly where I thought we were going, of him secretly listening into all their stuff. And at first, maybe he's doing it to be bitter, but then he starts learning, nuances about, maybe one of the kids or something.
Yeah, and like not to make it a Christmas episode, but say there is a special gift-giving occasion where he gets everyone exactly what they want. And like, instead of doing any of these other great ideas, which we had, they immediately have him reveal in that one same scene that he's like, oh, I'm going to hatch a plan, and it does not pay off.
It's weird because there are moments in it where it feels like they've got patience.
Yeah.
Like there are some setups where I'm like when Lisa sees the thing and it says billions, and we have a little moment when she says billions, and there's no immediate payoff. It's kind of like,
you're like, oh yeah, I wrote that down as this is going to come back, and I wonder how.
And then it does in like a nice way where you're like, wow, it didn't feel rushed. It didn't like they took their time to set something up, and they didn't feel like they panically needed to immediately
blurt it out immediately. Yeah.
Like her running out and being like, oh, freaking out. And
Yeah, to me, though, it felt like a bit of a placeholder idea. I feel like there was a better something to hinge the episode on, because that felt a little...
Nothing is hinged on this episode.
There's a better way to do every single letter of every word in this.
There's maybe 3 decent episodes in that one episode.
That's
You
it.
could just pull certain parts out, build on them, but together they just make a bland...
Yeah, it's amazing. I feel like we watched 3 different episodes then, not the one. But play count. How many times before tonight have you seen this episode?
0 times.
I've seen it 0 times before, but having watched it the once, I feel like I've seen it 5 times.
Right?
Yeah.
This is only the 2nd time I've watched it.
So 10.
Yeah. Yeah, I watched it once, and I tuned out part the way
Yeah,
through.
no kidding.
Oh, God, it's so bad. So ultimately, did this feel like an episode of The Simpsons? I don't know that anyone was particularly off.
No one was behaving off, but it's just the pacing of it all that's so flat and useless that even an overdone cliche would have been more fun.
Yeah.
And for that, I'm going to say no, it doesn't, because this doesn't feel like an episode in the sense that, I don't know, what's an example here? It's like it looks like a roller coaster, but you get in and it's just going at like 1K an hour.
It's one of those little trains.
Yeah, you're like, oh, this looked fun.
It's the King James ride in the Praiseland episode. You will hear all of my psalms.
No. It looked right. Everything looked right, but then, yeah, exactly.
Moment to moment, it felt right, but because we didn't have those arcs for
Yeah,
each of the characters, nothing
tied
happened.
together. So
ultimately, no, it didn't. But focusing in, you're like, yeah, that looks right, you know?
Yeah, so we did have the little moment of betraying the Armentarian thing, but, you know, that's contentious. Like, even the Simpsons writer who wrote that episode said, I imagine this is a world that resets after every event. Like, why is everyone taking this seriously? And also in that moment, it's like, fuck you.
No, not for stuff like that.
No, that's right.
Don't say that, writer man.
Homer falls down a canyon, that resets.
That's right.
You know.
Maud dies.
Yeah, that does not reset.
She's not back. Lisa's a vegetarian. That doesn't reset.
That's carried through.
So what about the wackiness of the episode?
Oh, God. I just looked at one now. I'm kind of nauseous thinking about it. So in the beginning, Grandpa's wearing a party hat and he takes it off and his skull is now shaped in that. And they kind of like mold it like clay to go back. And I kind of wanted to throw it.
I drew it on my notes to remind myself.
That's Put that on Twitter.
Like, that's
definitely
so strange.
Because, and they push it up into this bowl and then it melts on him. And
it was icky. It was
very icky. An icky bit of animation.
Yeah.
One wackiness I didn't mind, and again, this is a common theme with our podcast, we like when they have the background jokes that they don't call attention to. When Lisa's trying to recruit Bart and he's got his ninja outfit on and he's got Skinner's mailbox, putting a snake in it. He's doing all that stuff while the conversation's still rolling on, so I thought that was a nice bit of wackiness.
It did make me wonder why not bring the snake to the mailbox instead of the other way around. But hey, I don't know. I have no experience in putting snakes in mailboxes. Maybe this is easier.
Transporting a snake is harder than transporting a inanimate object.
Yeah, I suppose.
Potentially.
But then you still got to glue the mailbox back on.
He needs his workshop.
I guess.
Yeah.
I can give benefit of the doubt there.
Yeah.
So when Grandpa's in the mall and all these shop people are running away from him, and this woman knocks over like the glasses stand and then she just shoots it, but doesn't even like break it dramatically. Just puts a hole in it. You're like, oh. Well, now I just feel bad for the stand.
That moment was just like, bleh. Whereas, you know, she should have been stuffing her pockets full of sunglasses and then, you know, like they should carry across the panic that she's feeling. Like that's where the comedy is. It's not that she's like, oh, goodbye, old friend.
It's the sudden sorrow of... Like,
but there was no sorrow. It was like she looked at it. She just looked at it and then pulled out a gun and shot it.
It's just...
It's barely a joke. And... Hey listeners, slight correction here. One of our fans on Facebook, Tim Burleson, pointed out that this is actually a visual reference to an old World War II cartoon. It was by Bill Malden, and I think it was from his old comic strip called Willie and Joe. But look, while I appreciate that they are doing a pretty spot-on visual reference here, I don't know that it actually really improves the joke. It still feels really out of place and the punchline just falls flat for me. But look, anyway, thanks to Tim for pointing this out for us. We're always keen to learn new stuff. We'll be posting a side-by-side images on Facebook and Twitter later in the week, so you can check that out. But for now, back to the show. I'd liked a couple of the things that the mall people were saying. You know, that masseuse woman's like, oh my God, massaging old people is like dry lasagna. And then, the other dude was like, come in. He has a casket shop. Fine jokes, but then they just went too OTT.
Parts I want to point out is everyone seems to be wearing extra hats. So in the beginning, Marge
in a metaphorical
is wearing
sense.
a hat and it doesn't really come up or get referenced. And later in the end, Grandpa's also wearing a hat. And I'm like, why the extra hats?
Yeah, he's wearing a jacket that it didn't quite look right. It looked like, you know, those 2D cutouts of people and you stick on clothes.
Like a paper doll kind
like a paper doll thing. You're like, it doesn't look like it's really wearing it. That kind of is what it looked like at the end there.
It's like one of the animators was like, you know what, today I'm rebelling. I am putting hats and jackets.
They told me I couldn't. But I'm doing it. It's my
Look at me now,
day.
Dad.
And then, he's bragging to people at a bar. Did you see the latest episode of The Simpsons with all the hats?
No.
Oh.
Like, shut up, Kim. Well, because I assumed anytime a character is off model, there's usually a reference to it or there's a joke. You know, he's going to refer to the time at some point.
Bart's lucky hat.
Yeah, absolutely.
Except it just didn't. And I was like, I mean, it's not bad. It's just kind of odd.
Yeah. It's not odd not to use it. The last wacky joke I want to point out is when Grandpa is at this other bar and he goes, oh, there's an old man peeing himself in this bathroom. That's a mirror.
And that ain't a bathroom.
Yeah, it's such a lame, obvious spelling out the joke.
That whole location was like, it was a fine place, but there was no setup. There was no
payoff.
No, we saw like two shots. We had two angles of the place, and it was like, oh, I guess it's a veteran.
Yeah, I like the idea it was called like the bar for unpopular war veterans or something. So,
okay.
See,
I mean, he's a World War II veteran. That's a very popular war. That's like the greatest hits of war.
Yeah.
Not as good as the Great War.
Yeah, well, they didn't know at the time.
But it was the war to end all the wars.
Boy, were they wrong.
But I didn't even know that was the setting of the bar because the actual set itself was so bland.
Yeah,
and
very
beige.
vacant, nothing going on. You think it'd be a bunch of grizzled Vietnam vets going,
Yeah, at least fill out the space.
making noises.
Definitely. And the last bit of wackiness, we don't usually mention the couch gags except when they go on for an unnormal amount of time.
Well, it's usually the first red flag that it's going to be a very empty episode because they're trying to fill in the time. It itself wasn't bad. It was, the Simpsons immigrating on the couch and then various areas.
So that was a World War II reference, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, I think they're escaping a Poland-esque area.
Yeah.
I think they were like Cossacks. There was like Russian.
Yeah, it wasn't like Nazi anything, but it was definitely, more Russian Cossack era. So.
Yeah. I dug the joke where they arrive in America and their name is Simpsonovich and the guy just cuts the last bit off. To me, that's where you would have ended the couch gag.
That would have been fine. Maybe keep the bit where Mo picks up all the scraps of letters to make Sizzlack.
Oh, yeah. That was a good follow-up joke.
That was fine.
Maybe you just end it with that last bit where it's them in America.
Yeah.
Them, it's like...
Yeah, then they go through the various eras of America, like they're from the 20s, the 50s.
Which is what I hated about it. And it felt disjointed from the start of the couch gag.
And then everything floods with water and they leave the Earth.
I wrote down climate change.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's what was going on.
But that was the premise of the couch gag, is they immigrated with their couch.
Yep.
And then we were like, no, we're going to run it to the ends of the earth, and now they're aliens.
Yeah, and the final joke was that they added alien on the end of Simpson, and it's like, oh, now you just kind of undercut the good joke.
That's not the joke you end on.
No, let's put it this way. They literally ran the joke till the end of time. So till the end of the earth. That's how long it went on for.
Yeah, when I say this joke is out of this world, it is not a good thing.
No. Well, let's also back up a little bit because during the supermarket sequence, Maggie is holding a bottle of Szechuan sauce.
Oh, yeah.
In reference...
You almost said Szechuan schnapps.
Yeah, that's another tongue twister. Shots of Szechuan schnapps. Yeah, obviously in reference to the Rick and Morty McDonald's Szechuan sauce debacle.
Yeah, an interesting thing to bring up. And it's sort of like weird watching Simpsons episodes with current references.
Yeah, it just kind of reinforces the sadness of the situation.
Yeah.
Of like, we set the trend, we inspired all of this stuff. Now look, Szechuan sauce.
Yeah.
Like, that's funny, right? We're naming things that you know.
Well, our market research has shown this is trending. And so it will be a hit with the young folk.
Whatever's got a hashtag, chuck it in.
Yep.
That's it.
It's that writing.
And, the other time where they did the full Rick and Morty couch gag on Mathlete's feet, that was such a fucking awful episode as well. With one of the best couch gags I've ever seen.
Yeah, I've just watched that couch gag over and over again. It is so well done and it's beautiful. I hope to never see the episode it's attached to.
It's not good.
It's not worth the time.
And so the tags as well. Another sign of a bad episode is not only when they have a super long couch gag, but when they have extra tags after the episode is over. And again, I didn't mind the gag that there was a tag written in the script. I thought that was funny enough, but Skinner and Agnes's back and forth on Game of Thrones.
Yeah, it didn't need to be there. It did nothing.
No.
I can't vouch for this joke because I haven't watched the show at all, but apparently it doesn't show boobs anymore since winning Emmys. Is that joke?
I feel like they do, but Daenerys doesn't.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure she got contractual about that.
Yeah, she was like, I'm not doing that anymore.
Oh, wow.
No, I think it's just more that back in the old seasons where they showed boobs a lot was when you were establishing characters and they'd hang out in seedy places. Whereas now you're into the events where you don't, you're not on a battlefield in a strip club. That doesn't make sense. You're doing that when you're in the cities talking about how this battle's going to make a difference. And then when you're having the battle,
that's when you're at the strip club.
That's when there's no boobies. So I'm guessing. That it makes sense to me and I'm just saying it as I think of it. So
yeah. Although I did like Agnes being like, you're just going to watch booby movies.
I do like it. I will if I'm in a booby mood. That I like.
Yeah, that's relatable. But then the second tag, oh my God, I almost leapt up and punched my television.
Yeah.
So they brought back the whole everyone loves Ned Flanders thing, but they did it for Mole Man, and it was weak.
Yeah.
So weak. One of the rhymes was, he walks down the streets and falls in a hole, man. Everyone loves Mole Man. That is so lazy.
Yeah, it wasn't like everyone forget. No one knows who Mole Man is. Like, I can't even remember the bit.
You can't even remember it.
I'm glad, because it was in my head when we first came in studio, and now it's not, and I'm very happy about
it's
that.
generic. It's like,
he's a loser and he dies a lot.
But the whole supermarket thing, when he's at the supermarket, he doesn't even scan, man.
Yeah.
Or why is she trying to scan a person? Why is she
just-
confused by the fact that she can't?
is she a HD
Yeah, was that
person?
Shauna?
Shauna?
Shana.
Yeah, Shauna
Yeah.
Banana. Because I saw her twice in the episode. I was like,
Yeah,
is this-
she's in the planetarium. Sorry, that planet
Area. Lots of South Park references today. Yeah, I didn't mind that joke.
where she stubs a cigarette out on this constellation of cancer.
Yeah. It's-
I'm just glad she didn't say, I'm Shauna,
Yeah.
as is her catchphrase.
So yes, to answer your question, yes, she is a new HT character. She didn't actually talk that much in this one. Usually her catchphrase is, I'm Shauna. And they establish continuity where she's Superintendent Chalmers' daughter at some point as well.
What?
Yeah.
And she dates Bart briefly, which was creepy as fuck,
Yeah.
Oh,
while she was dating Jimbo.
this is making me feel really, really dirty.
Yeah,
What?
it should.
Yep,
That's
she
good.
has that effect on people.
That was a test and you passed. So,
Oh, good.
So how about the heart of this episode? Did you guys feel bumps?
keep moving.
Beginning. The potential for heart, I think, at the beginning was nice. It was the moment where Abe gets dropped off and then Marge sticks her head out and she's like, happy birthday. Like it wasn't a joke. It was sad. It was sad like I feel sometimes with grandparents, like stuff where you're like, oh.
I'm trying to say something, I don't know what it is.
That's right. It's like you're getting older and I'm sorry this wasn't very good and like and when he gets the hearing aid, there was a little bit of like, I was like, oh, that's nice.
There was a nice
You
little
know?
like listening montage where I think we all laughed at Jasper's beard wafting majestically in the breeze.
That was another
beautiful.
drawing that I did in my notes. I was like, I like that.
Yeah,
How the wind whistles through his bristles. I didn't mean for that. That was awesome.
yeah, nicely landed. Right?
Yeah, and it was like a little beautiful thing. I can hear the knitting. I can hear the bingo, and like it speeds up.
And the family sneaking away from they're falling
I
asleep.
hear everything now. Yeah, but even then, there's a line before that which was kind of slap the heart in the ventricle.
New catchphrases
I
by
guess.
BT Calloway.
Slap it right in that ventricle.
Yeah, don't shit on my crumpets, man. What is it? Old Jewish guy is like, I got you something you could really use, and he's like, what is it? A hooker that'll kill me afterwards?
That was so
I was
dark.
like, wow. I mean, I see the appeal, but also no.
Yeah, I'm laughing because I'm like, it made me so
Yeah,
uneasy.
pure shock value got me to laugh on that one, but it was also like, no.
But signwriting joke in that section, the hearing aid brand was ear ye, hear ye. Not bad.
I like,
nice.
yeah, that's pretty good.
I will pay that. But yeah, other heart moments. So yeah, I guess they established it kind of well in the grandpa story, but then, as we said before, they kind of miffed it, and then at the ending it was fine. But what about the rest of the heart with like Skinner and his mother? Like, no, it's
As we said earlier, it just resolves so quickly. You never, and even when I'm trying to feel something for him when he's angry, he's going, I'm going to take a furious walking tour of this college. But he just walks in a circle.
yeah.
I was like, I literally just wrote down, that's not how walking tours work. And I've been on two.
Yeah.
And that might have been a fun little montage where he's like getting all grizzly. He looks at a bit of art and he's
Beginning of second act.
Yeah,
like, that's
anything.
when he discovers the thing, whatever that is.
Have him wander through and like go past through their art department, and I could have appreciated that.
He sees some young drummer in a marching band.
Yeah, something.
Anything.
yeah.
Sees them drinking at the uni bar, and he's like, I could have thrown up there.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah. Just a long line of that could have been me.
Yeah.
I could have done that.
Yeah, from the good to the bad to the ugly, yeah.
He sees like some of those hazing rituals like you
That
see
could have
at,
been my bottom being spanked.
like you see at Newcastle Uni recently.
Really?
The testicle.
Yeah.
What? Yeah.
I was trying to think it. They
We
have
don't even have paternities in this country.
some live in colleges and universities, but Newcastle got busted because footage was released of a hazing ritual where a person has to drink a pool of beer that has been made out of a divot in another dude's scrotum.
Yep.
That happens.
Listeners, you can't see my face is just like I ate a confusing lemon. Like, both gross and why?
Yeah.
Like, who is sitting around going, you know what? You know, your bro, to get someone in here, they're going to have to drink beer out of my scrotum.
Yeah.
Like, can your scrotum even hold beer? Watch this. I've been practicing in the shower.
Hold my beer.
Then tip it lightly onto my scrotum. Just who and why and stop it.
Yep. Well, hopefully they will. But yes or no, would you watch this episode again?
Probably not. I feel like I'd miss it.
Yeah.
If it was on.
You're not paying me enough.
No. But BT, what would you change about this episode?
Everything.
Yeah.
No, there's some good things to be extracted here. It's just give any of your many plot points direction and payoff, and just there's potential, and that's really what hurts the most. Is there are some neat ideas. I like a good Skinner story. I like that Bart and Lisa were paired together, and there's this moment they find Skinner, say, oh, where's this going? Grandpa can have some good stories. Have him explore a new world, and maybe have that like an allegory of the cave where he wants to go back to being oblivious to everything.
That's where you take it.
There's so many options, and to not have a single one is just mind-boggling. It's like beyond lazy writing. It's writing I can't even understand. It's like, did you even want to make a Simpsons episode?
Yeah.
Just so much to change. Pick one of your things and develop it beyond a sequence of random events.
Which one would you pick out of the dissonant threads? What did you want to see most?
Question. Honestly, they all have a fair amount of potential. That one would make it tricky. I think maybe it's a good Skinner one. I feel like it's been a while since we had that. We've come up with some better ideas for that plot line just now. So,
Oscar, what about you? What's a story point that you'd like to change in this episode? Or anything you'd like to change in this episode?
I was getting invested in the beginning.
Yeah.
I was watching, I was getting hooked in, but they just kept on laying it on. I think having the Skinner episode be the A story with like a continuation of Bart and Lisa, not having them just be palmed off, like having them be the B story or
get involved with them,
having something like that would be good. I liked the setup. I liked mostly the beginning, and then it just treaded water.
I would say it pretty much just got out of the water.
Yeah, and it dried off, and it drove home.
It was like, thanks guys, bye.
Yeah.
It's like,
thought we were swimming, but sure.
BT, do you have any other final notes before we wrap this thing?
I have two. Simpsons did it.
Oh, they're repeating themselves.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
When Lisa thinks she's going to get discovered for having cheated in a test and she's running for president, they've done that before with Monster Island, which is actually a peninsula.
Yep.
Yep.
It's just a name.
Yep. And the other one is when Bart picks up the dealie with the 4 chalks and starts writing out, and Nelson has done the same thing. It's like,
he's like, how did I never know this?
It's like, well, we knew about it because we watched The Simpsons.
And it wasn't even a joke then. Like in the old one, it was a story point.
It was a bonding moment. It was a story and character growth.
And this one, he just picks it up. It's like, oh, where has this been all my life? And come on, that's lazy. Oscar, did you have any final notes?
I appreciated the nicotine gum being called Chewbacco.
Oh, I missed that.
I was like, it's decent.
Dig that.
I liked when Grandpa was going out of the planetarium during the light show and squeaky voice teen said, no, your eyes aren't adjusted to Earth light.
Yeah.
There was like real panic in his voice. And then they opened the door and like I wanted people to be rolling on the ground. Like I wanted it to be like earth shattering.
To the system.
Like total.
Like they got the bends but for eyes.
Yeah, exactly. Like there was that fear to justify that payoff.
Yeah.
But then they were just like, and then Mo had film developing and he was like, it's ruined.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, right.
So I feel like this was calling back to another HD episode where they were like, oh, I need to develop this roll of film. It's okay, you can use Duff. It's got the same chemicals as... Remember that episode where Mo has the red light in Mo's bar?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were referencing a recent bad joke for no reason.
Thank God.
Anyway, so time for Elliot's quick fire notes.
Oh, you got me.
When they're inside the planetarium, again, another obvious over-explaining of the joke where Homer steps on the scale. He's 182 pounds. Homer, that's your weight on the moon. Lame. And the Pluto scene where he's doing like one of those shadowed interviews to protect his identity.
It's like, who could it be? It used to be a planet.
Yeah.
Venus?
And he's like, I'm working some stuff out. I'm Pluto. And it's, what?
Yeah, you're not going to see Haley's Comet next time.
Yeah.
Like, this just keeps on going.
Why did I write down booze gum?
That was
the exit line for, she chews this gum so she doesn't smell like cigarettes. Well, she chews booze gum as well.
Yeah.
Like,
That's a weak first draft of a joke.
Too busy going, you don't chew nicotine gum because you don't want to smell of cigarettes.
Yeah.
And I was too busy thinking that to hear the follow-up, so...
Yep, totally.
Because I think loudly sometimes.
I did like how Lisa goes, it's called a tittle, right? And Skinner's like, yeah, of course I knew that.
Yeah.
And then they brought it back at the end with Agnes go, oh, you're always going to be my little tittle.
But why? You're always going to be the little dot of my eye?
That's kind of nice.
Yeah, like a twinkle in my eye.
I guess.
The way you said it then made it...
I made it good for them.
You gave it more sense.
God damn it.
Even though that's like a father reference.
Yeah.
Because the twinkle is sperm, right?
Somehow.
Oh.
I feel like someone doesn't...
So.
Yeah. No, I've heard when you were just a twinkle in your father's eye. Yeah, I've heard that before.
Oh, I thought that was just a Family Guy thing.
No. That's a thing. It's an expression.
Family Guy were referencing something
Why
smart.
your sperm are in your eyes?
They're in your balls.
Your
eyeballs.
I don't want to think about that anymore. It's making me very uncomfortable.
But what about Stevie Wonder? Why does he call it the apple of my eye? That one I
That's
don't
different.
get.
That's an apple, not a twinkle.
Yeah, but what is the apple of your eye?
Well, he was blind.
Oh. He doesn't get eyes so much.
Yeah. Again, it's like this is, we thought it was funny. That's not funny.
Been playing an umbrella this whole time. And yeah, when they go up to Skinner and see him in the silhouette, looks like he's shredding a hand. It's just celery.
The fact that we got to the explanation quickly, I think if that had been a plot point, it would have pissed me off. But the fact that it was just set up, it's like, okay, fine. We're not dwelling on this.
Yeah. Grandpa goes to that bar and the barman goes, yeah, talk my ear off. And he turns down his hearing aid. I kind of hate this thing that television shows do where they play drama games within their show. Like,
I hate that gag. That it's always in sitcoms. I feel like I've seen it in How I Met Your Mother a million times. Like,
yeah, it's the broken drive-through speaker box gag. It's the closing and opening the door thing over and over again.
Just when you get the very last lines.
Yeah, and sometimes that can be funny setup, but that it was, he was just doing a bunch of actions and that's how I opened the orange. Like,
it's like if they had made the action seem a bit more like he was describing a war story, that could have paid off. It was a little bit that, but not enough to make me really feel like that's what he was going for.
Yeah, they should have fully committed.
Yeah.
There's a line I love about comedy writing is if you're going to walk up to the bell, you might as well ring it.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, if you're doing this bit, just
do it.
And speaking of bells, they have the bells that are like chanting loser at him.
It was weird as well.
I'm pretty sure Rick and Morty beat them to this as well with the wind whistling. Yeah. Which I think made me laugh more than any gag from
is the
Rick
best
and Morty.
part of that season, yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because the bells were like, he didn't lose. He didn't miss out on this place because he's a loser. He was deceived.
It is all 3 episodes smashed together and then cut the end off.
Just cut bits willy-nilly and nilly-willy.
All right, guys, it is time to rank this thing.
But how will we do that?
On the Simpsons Index, we rank using our 6-point scale, which starts down the bottom at failure. But maybe if the episode was just meh, you give it participant. But for the good rankings, you've got good for bronze, great, silver, excellent, gold. But for the best of the very best, the essential Simpsons episodes, the ones that you can't live without, we call those cubic zirconia. Now I'm going to go first. Let me show you how it's done. Honestly, I was close to participating in this, but it's a failure for me. They were juggling too many balls. They didn't land any of the tricks. It was just watching a shitty juggling routine. Nothing landed. Nothing was satisfactory. There was potential, and that's pretty much all it had. BT, how are you going with this?
Hang on, let me see if I got enough phlegm for this. Failure. It's satisfying. Ooh. Yeah, look, it's not as aggressively terrible as some we've seen, but it's just aggressively boring. And ones where we've written better episodes in chat usually end up in the very low participant range. We've written about 3 better episodes from this. And again, there's stuff there, but even in terms of structure, it doesn't even have that. This has nothing going for it. There's no real standout jokes. There's no standout heart. There's no standout plots. Even some of the ones we've given participant lack jokes, but they still have a flowing story.
Yeah.
And there's nothing to be taken from this. It's like punching silk. So for
what a beautiful image.
take that silk. Give it a try sometime.
That's a perfume ad.
Yeah. Punching silk. Back up and clap. Oscar, finish us off.
I was thinking, because this is the first HD episode I've watched in a long time, I kind of had my expectations really low.
Yeah.
So within the first 10 minutes, I was like, this isn't bad. This isn't too bad. I'm seeing lots of touchstones of things I've liked for Simpsons in the past. But as it just went on, I think it's the broken promise that puts it into the failure for me. It's like at those Simpsons retreats where they pitch all of their episodes, they had 3 just thrown up on the board and they were like, shove them all into a sausage and sell it at the Quickie Mart. Like, it is just gross and sad and muddles and I mourn for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think there's a term to be mined there. Maybe, again, not sausage episode, that sounds weird, but like meat grinder episode where they just blended a bunch of different things together and thought, that'll do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was a false promise. We thought they were blending meat, but it was just celery. All right. Well, this will be a unanimous failure all around. And as we like to say, we're giving this episode the index finger. And this will be joining another season 29 episode, The Old Blue Mare, She Ain't What She Used to Be. And other unanimous failures, Lisa Goes Gaga, The Musk Who Fell to Earth, The Devil Wears Nada, the one where Homer becomes Carl's assistant.
Yeah.
And Marge wants to fuck Flanders.
I forgot about that B plot. Thank you.
Blue and the Grey, where everyone's mean to Marge because she lets her hair go grey. Mo Goes from Rags to Riches, the big backstory behind Mo's rag, and The Great Fatsby Part 2.
Was Part 1 unanimous as well?
Part 1 was a dull participant.
That's right, yeah.
We were like, it's bad, but let's see where this goes. Nope, burn it. Now we're going to do a new segment of this podcast called Is That Reputation Justified? So for Grampy, Can You Hear Me? The AV Club gave this episode a B-. Now, I actually looked into the AV Club because last episode we couldn't figure out their system.
Yeah.
And they don't actually have like a ratings key anywhere on the AV Club. But from what I can gather, A is good, B is mediocre, C is bad, and then D is just fucking awful.
I thought you were going to say they use a different rating system for every different review.
And this one got Puce.
Puce.
We rank this tapioca.
Like Grandma used to make.
Yep. So this episode got a B-. So on their scale, I think this roughly translates to about bronze-ish participant, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe not that low. Dennis Perkins of the AV Club wrote, so close this one. It does a lot of little things while frittering away the overall episode in about 6 different narrative directions.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird that he's given it like a okay-ish ranking.
Yeah, he said so close where we were like, no, it was so far. It had ideas, it just didn't know what to do with them. Instead of having ideas and developing them wrong, it just didn't do anything with them at all.
He appreciated the potential, whereas we damned it for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it, because he goes on to say, it stings me because of how, with a few adjustments, this could have been a genuinely solid episode. So,
not too far off, though.
Yep. All right, well, I don't think that reputation is justified.
Not too far off being unjustified, though, so...
True.
Yeah, at least they didn't win a fucking Emmy or something.
No, as many bad ones have.
Yes.
All right, guys, well, that does it for the HD era tonight, and now we are going all the way back to Season 17 with Homer's Paternity Coot. We will be back.
I know all those words, but that sentence makes no sense.
And we are back, and we just watched our Teens Era episode for the evening, which was Season 17, Episode 10, Homer's Paternity Coot. This was first released in January of 2006, and it was written by Joel H. Cohen. In this episode, after discovering an old letter from a frozen mailman at the top of Mount Springfield.
We'll get there.
Homer finds out that Abe Simpson might not be his father after all.
Gasp.
And so after a bit of research, he finds out it's this guy, Mason Fairbanks, who had an affair with his mother back in the day. And they do a paternity test, which reveals that Mason is his father. And so we play in that world for a little while. Anyway, that's about all that happens. Guys, what did you think?
It's all right.
Yeah.
Pretty forgettable.
Yeah.
Yep. It's not bad, though.
No, that's the thing. I kind of walked out of this, I'm like, where I'm going to land this one? I'm like, well, there's nothing really bad in this. But there was also, I don't think I had any real laugh out loud moments.
No.
Thank God it has plot structure. Huh.
Yeah. See, that's a good thing about the order in which we watch these episodes is this isn't a funny episode of The Simpsons, but at least, there's a structure.
Yeah, it's serviceable. It works.
Yeah, there's one through storyline in the whole thing.
I have my questions about said complete story. I do appreciate that opposed to
the last one.
the last one.
Yeah. So, just starting out, BT, what's a story moment that did stand out to you?
I think it's a weird mix of bad, but also kind of good how we get to the frozen dude.
Yeah.
So we're fans of noting the number of times that episodes start with the Simpsons watching TV. And this one does. And I actually quite like that. I think it's something I don't think would have happened in sitcoms prior to the Simpsons. You would never just have characters watching TV.
Yeah.
So it does start off with pretty strong with, have you ever driven past a house fire and thought, how can this benefit me? And then it's, the whole fire sale thing where there's smoke, there's savings.
Yeah.
There's some pretty good jokes in that whole bit.
I loved it. Yeah. Action figure puddles and...
Well, what we're pretty sure used to be an air conditioner.
And boxes of you figure it out.
Yeah, that was all really good. And then, but then we do kind of like a ping pong ball. We go around for a little bit here. So from that, we go to Marge driving down a road that now has a pay booth.
Yeah.
Which she then takes a shortcut to get around like everybody else. They put in tire spikes. So then Marge resists and reverses, and everyone gets their tires slashed. So they make a big pile of extra tires, throw on the tire fire, which then gets bigger, which then melts a glacier that's in
at the top of Mount Springfield. Yeah.
I was at the top of Mount Springfield. I missed that part.
Yeah.
Second global warming.
Yeah.
Joke of the night.
We also have a theme of Grandpa going to the mall.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
And characters who do not normally wear hats wearing hats.
I noted that down.
Yeah.
But reason.
I know. This one had a reason. I was like, is this unexplained extra hat?
Who had the extra hat? Which was this?
Homer.
Oh,
but
right.
he was like, I'm a journalist.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Journalists wear hats.
And that was a hat from earlier. He's had that hat before.
Yeah, he's definitely had that.
It's for like when...
Is it Beer Baron? Or
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
possibly.
similar.
Yeah,
I don't think it's quite the same, but yeah, it's pretty similar. I'm pretty sure he's done the journalist thing before.
Yeah, for some reason I can picture him with one of those hats with a little press ticket. Yeah.
I feel like he's said, put on a pot of coffee. Like, maybe when they're researching the JFK assassination.
Oh, yeah, Marge, get me my conversation hat.
There we go. It's his conversation hat.
Oh, wow, I had a conversation hat. That's great.
Yeah, so this whole opening, again, this is typical Simpsons teen era. The first act is largely irrelevant from the rest of the episode.
Yeah, but to its credit, it is pretty quick. Like, despite the number of left turns we take to get there, we do get through it pretty. And then you're like, okay, this is where we're going.
Yeah.
For a while, like, okay, they're going to buy something smoke damage. Okay, it's not going to be that. All right, it's going to be something about this shortcut. Marge is going to find. All right, it's not that. And then you're like, oh, okay, now I know where we're going.
But it is a line of dominoes, which I appreciated. It was this led to this, led to this, led to this, led to...
Yeah, so even though it was a little bit roundabout, I still think it went fast enough that it didn't bother me. The ones where we see that are particularly bad is when it takes 10 minutes and then you're like, oh, okay, finally, God.
Yeah. What about you, Oscar? What's a story moment that stood out to you?
Probably when Homer later in the episode is in the submersible and gets stuck and has his flashbacks.
Yep.
I really like that. All of his memories of him and his dad I thought was quite touching.
Yeah.
I had a few chuckles during that. I thought it was a good three flashbacks, each giving you something nice and...
Yeah, totally. Like a little catch daddy's keys. And then, like little 2-year-old Homer, like actually adjusts the mirror. And
super cute. The little baby Homer, I was like, adorable.
Yep. And then... little teenage Homer. I drew this
for you, Daddy. I was like, that's funny.
Yeah, it's a classic bit.
Yeah, unfortunately, there was a little bit of a continuity fuck up again where Homer and Marge are at the wedding chapel that we all recognize from the episode where they got married, but there was no reason that sequence couldn't have happened when they got home or something.
Because then a bird couldn't have flown by and picked up the money.
Birds can go anywhere, man.
Except inside.
Scientific facts.
Why we built houses, Elliot.
Look
to
around.
keep the birds out.
Yeah.
Do you see any birds?
Yeah.
See this
This
rock?
house is working.
This rock keeps away lions.
That's right. I would like to buy your rock.
No.
Yeah, the story moment that stood out to me was probably the whole DNA switching thing, and I will say that I like it as a plot point, but I didn't like how they explained it. It just felt a little weak sauce that Abe was like, so how well you guys were getting along, so I switched it.
But why? I just wrote down why. Why did Grandpa do that?
Yeah.
He doesn't even offer an explanation of I wanted you to teach you a lesson, or you looked happier with them, so I thought I'd switch it, or he just kind of was like, I did it. And then I did something else. And then it's like, I love you, Dad.
It doesn't feel very Abe. He's like, I'm your dad, you're going to like it. That's the usual way he does things. So, yeah, I agree. It doesn't quite fit. But then it just kind of, it's done, and then the episode's over.
I was thinking, I don't know how you'd fix that either, but yeah, maybe it should have been an outside influence. But then, having said that out loud, that'd feel like a cop-out too.
Yeah, or even the bit, because I was thinking when they go, it's a DNA test, it's 99.9997% accurate. I'm like, they're going to be like, wait a second, 0.9997? Could it be? Or so I'm kind of glad they didn't go that way. That would have been...
Yeah. Or maybe if they just made Mason do it, and he goes...
That's kind of where I thought it was going. I was like, this guy seems kind of suspect.
Yeah, I thought there was going to be a bit about, I needed you to get this to help me get this treasure. Now that I have it, I'll be off forever.
Well, yeah, because that's it. He inexplicably disappears when they're underwater.
Yeah.
And then when they cut back to the hospital, he doesn't even say anything or explain what happened.
No, I thought it was going to be Grandpa that saved him.
Yeah.
Somehow.
You didn't see who was inside the submersible.
That's right.
I was just kind of like, it's going to be like, I love your son. And we would get him being a father, him reinforcing of I'm saving my boy.
Have a whole moment of, I don't care what that DNA test says, you're my son and I love you. And wait a minute, where's Mason? Oh, he switched the tests. Shock reveal.
That's right. And then you have him hurriedly getting in the submarine and stuff.
With all these emeralds. Yeah.
Yep.
Which, to be fair, Homer has fair claim to a whole an entire trunk of emeralds now.
It's true.
Yeah.
As the law of finders keepers
dictates. Finders keepers v losers weepers.
So, play count. How many times before tonight do you think you've seen this episode?
First time for me.
First time?
At least once, because I definitely remember Homer's note of "Daddy smell good, too early for hug."
Yeah. Actually, the one that sticks out to me is "Teach me that the stove is hot." It's such a dumb bit, but just that question
gets you.
And it's Dan Castellaneta's delivery of it. It's I love Homer's earnestness in this episode.
Yeah.
That was my favorite thing about the whole thing, is that he cares. He really cares in a really genuine, beautiful way.
Definitely.
Which I don't really see, especially in the later seasons, him...
No, when he switches to full jerk-ass mode. It's all just, day.
And it's also fun to see him sort of regressing a bit, going back to his childhood
like
self.
he did when Mona first shows up for the first time ever, and then, he regresses immediately.
Mom, look at me. You're not looking. Yeah, so I've seen this probably 5 or 7-ish times.
I mean, I never say this, but we might have to get out more. If you're at 7 times for this one.
This is all pre-Simpsons index. I only ever watch the episodes now in prep for this show. I don't watch Simpsons on my own leisure time anymore.
I'll tell you what, we'll go to the park and play Switch.
Yes. No, we'll go on rooftops like real trendy young adults.
Like in the ad.
Ultimately, though, did this feel like an episode of The Simpsons?
No one is really acting off point. And
no.
Structure-wise, it's another wacky day for this. Yeah, I'm going to say it does. Not a strong sense of them, but it's definitely not un-Simpsons-y.
Yeah, I mean, the only off-character moment that I can really think is Marge's whole weird defiance of the toll road.
Yeah, it feels like that needed a bit more setup. She likes rules. She's okay with rules.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And if it's about saving 75 cents, I don't know.
You could have Lisa being the one to inspire her rebellion.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know, those are established things of her being inspired by her daughter, and
that'd be right. I'd be for that. And I suppose the negative point is we know where the money is going, and it's to a good cause to de-python the fountain. Unlike Quimby's normal scams, where it's like, my new secretary needs a new rack. It's like, no, you should probably de-python the fountain. Seems important.
Yeah, that's right. Quimby's normally just Barnaby Joycing around the place, but this time he was trying to do
I got
something.
another one pregnant. Yeah.
But yeah, I loved the snake python thing. It was just such a beautiful sequence.
Yeah.
Oh, unintended theme, snakes.
Wow, we're hitting a couple now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so even Grandpa, I wouldn't say his character was ever off, even though we questioned that choice of him switching the DNA. But and the show itself felt on point as well. It was just a bit lame. Like,
Yeah.
a lot of the jokes didn't land for me, and like we really didn't have a lot of laugh out loud moments. I think the peak was the Python bit.
Yeah, I think so. We're all amused by that.
Yeah. So speaking of which, how about the wackiness in this episode? Other cartoony moments, the boyoyoings and...
Actually, I did kind of like the whole back and forth with Marge and the kids visiting Grandpa after the DNA test has come out. She's like, so, it's nice that we're here, even though we have no biological obligation to be here. Mom, you've said that 3 times.
You think of something to say.
That fan, what setting is that fan on? Medium. I would have guessed low.
Would have guessed wrong.
Just how long, but I'm surprised how funny I found that, despite it was being very drawn out. It worked.
Yeah, I very much appreciated that moment. It was nice, and all I could think of was it was set to 3, medium brown.
But yeah, I love that. Yeah, Lisa's just having an innocent conversation, and Grandpa's still like, "You would have guessed wrong." But I mean, it did also like bring me back to being a kid and having to go with your parents and have awkward conversations with their old friends.
Yeah, or the dreaded, yeah, he's right here. Do you want to pass the phone to him? No. Hi. Yeah, it's good. How are you?
Oh no.
Yeah, other cartoony moments though. I guess
feeding through a tube.
Oh, again, so stupid, but I really liked it.
I think the sound effect sells it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they have to feed you through it. It was just a boom.
With also a little bit of like wetness. Yeah. A little
Yeah.
bit of basted turkey sound.
I think Lisa sold that.
Yeah. Yeah, because sometimes like the fat jokes at home are really cheap in these newer seasons. But yeah, I just like the idea of sending up whole giant meats through a feeding tube.
We all like that.
Send up a couple of hams. Didn't probably need the "this is cold" tag.
Yeah, but one day when we've got Oprah money, we can have one of those tubes.
Yeah, other wackiness though, just skimming my notes, there wasn't really anything. Even like the whole boat thing wasn't super wacky and
Surprisingly easy. They just kind of go down there. There's the treasure.
Yep. There's the treasure.
Done.
Yeah, super easy. How about the heart of this episode? Did you guys feel bumps for Homer and his same old grandpa and the suave new stranger?
Theoretical bumps, I suppose.
Yeah, with where it went, I don't think so. I think
They could have pushed the buttons a little hard. I think he had some good ideas about how to get a little bit more out of that, but I guess it never quite feels like there's stakes.
no, it really does feel like the Simpsons family on another. Like
Wacky
it's a wacky adventure, even though it's not super wacky.
No, I think it would have been better to have had the DNA test way earlier.
Yes.
But then have Mason be like, well, I still have a lot of love to give. Do you want to kind of be my son anyway? And then Homer's like, yes, adventure. And then later on is like, you know what? Abe is still, my dad is still my dad no matter what.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that could set up with our idea of Mason actually using Homer.
Yeah.
And,
See, much better.
Yeah, and I mean, like the motivation for that is that he's alone.
yeah.
Like he doesn't have anyone. We see that he is alone, and
Yeah, and so you start off thinking, oh, this is a guy who just never had a family, but maybe it goes on that, no, he's just a jerk who takes from everybody, and that's why he's alone, and then he just takes the emeralds and fucks off.
Yeah, and then maybe we discover a letter from Mona that was saying, look, I can't keep this up. I can't resist you, but you're a bad person or something.
Yeah,
like
hey,
that.
that would have been
a
interesting.
second mailman.
I kind of love the absurdity, yeah. The glacier keeps melting, and there's just a second mailman inexplicably underneath the first one.
We didn't see him. He was frozen behind the grassy knoll.
It's so stupid, I kind of love it, yeah.
I dig it. All right, but yes or no, would you watch this episode again?
We do have what's called the hangover test,
Yeah.
where if you're not sure about it, but you're lying on a couch, you're comfy, you have a beverage, this one comes on, could you be bothered getting the remote and changing it? I'm going to say, personally, I'm not going to watch it again unless I'm in that situation. It's like, oh, this one. I mean, I can text while watching this one.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a very passive entertainment episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, not too challenging, not too hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, hangover test for me, I reckon.
Mhm.
Yeah, sort of zone in and out, go tube ham, and then just go back to what you were doing. So guest stars of this episode. First up at the top, we had Joe Fraser, Smokin' Joe Fraser for the fire sale, which I appreciated the joke of, you only got me here because of my name, but I didn't like any of the rest of it.
Yeah, they went on too long. They went for the second bite and they shouldn't have.
Yeah. Which, I mean, you got Smokin' Joe there. You want to get your money's worth. I can't imagine he was cheap.
Yeah, what else is he doing right now?
You only used me for your name. No, we didn't.
He is actually in a coffin, probably. Or maybe ashes. I'm not sure how he was.
Launched into space.
Well, when you got Smokin' Joe money.
Tried to punch the sun.
Joe Fraser passed away in 2011, but I got to say, as a performance as well, I think he did pretty good.
Yeah.
I think athletes generally don't do that good
No.
as voice actors.
Superman doesn't do that good. You don't do that well.
Damn it! Got me.
Been a long time, but I got you.
Yeah. But yeah, so not only for an athlete, but also for a boxer as well.
Yeah.
It was very intelligible.
It didn't feel like a cameo.
No.
You know, it didn't feel awkward like that. It was a natural performance, and
Yeah, absolutely.
it wasn't jarring, which I feel like the worst cameos are the jarring ones.
Yeah,
where you're
like,
like,
ooh.
what
Yeah.
is that?
The other guest star for this episode playing himself was William H. Macy in a scene that I just think they should have cut the fuck out.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
didn't need him. You didn't need it.
Yep.
You didn't need a bullies talk show. Why do the bullies have a talk show?
I shrug. That's the noise of me shrugging.
Yeah, it's the other side of podcasting is how do I make this into a sound? Blurb?
Nodding.
Za?
Bah. Yeah, so they do overvalue the bullies in the recent episodes just by pointing out they beat up people and steal lunch money and stuff, and it's almost like they expected us to laugh along that they were just beating up William H. Macy.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, stop it. He's a good actor.
Well, and that's where you assumed
Yeah.
it was going, right? Like, you see
Yeah.
them,
Oh,
you're
yeah.
like,
Would have been a twist to not have them beat him up.
that would have been. I love seeing the sweeter sides of those
Yeah.
characters.
Yeah.
Like, with Nelson talking about picking
Oh, huckleberries.
huckleberries.
Yeah. Yeah, it just
Yeah.
turns out these guys are really into independent film and are just massive Fargo fans.
Yeah, one of them is just like, I'm a massive fan. It's like, or like it's their show, and one of them is the one who brought him on. The other two don't really
Just
Yeah.
quietly
like it.
weeping.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, which is a shame because, yeah, William H. Macy, beautiful, just amazing actor. And playing Mason Fairbanks, the suave new stranger, was Michael York, which I think it's one of the top 10 British voices.
Yeah, Alec Guinness and Michael Caine.
Michael Caine, very good. Malcolm McDowell, excellent, excellent British voice. But
Hootie McDowell.
that's a... But yeah, Michael York, I think he did a fairly good job in this episode.
Like me before this episode when you were going through the lists. Think Basil Exposition from
Oh, yeah.
Austin Powers. You're like, oh, yeah.
Try not to think about it too much. And you too at home. Yes. He's a fantastic actor. I don't think they gave him a lot to do in this
No,
episode.
not really.
It would have been nice to have him do more and maybe be a bit devious, a bit,
Yeah.
as this, was it the Spanish say, Bartesque?
Yep. No, I could imagine he'd have a really good portrayal voice and a very good evil laugh. Yeah. Musical moments from this episode. So there was a montage set to Time After Time,
Oh, yeah.
which I found very out of place.
I kind of liked it when, Homer's playing catch with a question mark because he doesn't know who his dad is.
Oh, and then they break the window.
And an
and
exclamation
the
point comes up. No, it was more than I was expecting. We'll put it that way.
Yeah.
Do you count Moe's skipping song as a musical moment?
I will now.
Yeah.
That was bizarre.
Yeah, I wrote down stretching at that moment. I was like, oh, they're doing two verses.
Yeah. Yeah. That's another one where they felt like, oh, Mo in one of those helicopter hats skipping with Sherry and Terry. That'll be funny.
I was just waiting for them to stop. Like,
Yeah.
why do they keep doing it?
Why
Yeah,
are you
who
here?
are you, mister? Yeah.
Yeah. BT, do you have any other notes?
Do I? Okay, so for the uninitiated, we have a friend, Jordan, who's a tad anal retentive, and so here we have a segment called Jordan's Anal Corner.
Jordan's Anal Corner!
In which we yelled at. So, my first one is Mona never lived at the Simpsons address, therefore the mail would not be addressed there.
Oh.
Yes. This whole plot should have never happened.
Yeah, because in the Marge and Homer wedding episode, Grandpa sells his house so they can buy that family home.
Yep.
This is, well after she split.
So even if you did have Grandpa's forwarding address there, Mona's would not be there.
Yep.
And also, when Agnes is talking on the ham radio for some reason, she's like, how do I talk? Push this button. And there's a sound of when she pushes the button, but we can already hear her.
Yeah.
So,
it wouldn't have the transmission signal.
You thought we wouldn't notice, Simpsons writers. We noticed.
Keeping up the anal corner for even when you're not here, Jordan.
Keep me up there, huh?
Did you have any other notes?
I do like Homer's joke where he's like, this man raised me. He's my father. When I think of all the times he, all the Mason Fairbanks, you say.
Yeah.
That was pretty good. And then at the end, it was like, Marge's like, oh, thank God you pulled through. Unlike what that pushy casket salesman kept saying.
Yes.
Oh, another unintentional theme. Casket salesman.
Wow.
What the hell?
I wonder how many of these we're going to keep up in the next episode. This is amazing.
I've lost count.
I'm
How
on the
about
hunt
you?
now.
Yeah.
What's going to be really weird is we get none landing. That's going to be
Yeah.
the third. All right. That is my notes completed.
Oscar, do you have any other notes?
I certainly do. I enjoyed Play Booth magazine
Yeah.
of the guy in the toll booth.
Yep.
Funny. Very just made me chuckle.
Yep.
Mhm.
And the kids of today won't get that joke. Oh, with these automatic tolls.
Automatic tolls and internet porno.
I know, throwing a coin in a little tray
Yep.
that turns into a demon mouth. People on acid nowadays will never get to appreciate that.
Nope. that was a weird sequence.
Yeah,
that
well,
was
yeah.
that was wacky and cartoony.
That was very wacky. I loved Marge's Hitchcockian lead up to there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's very Psycho-esque with slight like Hitchcock strings coming in. I always enjoy Simpsons doing Hitchcock.
Absolutely.
Yeah, which they'll want to do, especially in the classic era.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I feel like it was a touchstone of like whenever you touch on something that was fundamental in those beautiful golden years.
Yeah.
That's an easy way to get a point with me. I'm like, it's comforting. It's comfort food.
No, absolutely. And, me too, because I haven't watched many Hitchcock movies at all, really. I don't think I've watched one. But, like, that stylistic choice that they went with there, I just enjoyed that on that level. And then it does make it a bit more special when you find out, oh, this was a loving tribute to another thing.
It's interesting, like filmmaking. It's them getting to do something different and specific, and that's always really nice to watch because The Simpsons can do that so well sometimes.
When
Absolutely.
they land it well.
Yeah.
I have the entire Psycho box set. We'll watch it sometime.
Yeah?
I really like it when the whole family laughs together.
Yeah. That big giggling montage.
The big giggling. I was like, I enjoyed it because I was hoping it would go on for too long.
Yeah.
When they started laughing. It's
laughing out of the house, into the car, replacing a tire.
What was I laughing about? Oh yes, that crippled Irishman.
No, definitely. It was one where strangely the length of the joke made it better.
Yeah.
Any other notes?
The only tummy ache is in my head. Didn't make me laugh in the moment, but I liked it as a line.
Yeah, it's a cute little Homer line,
Mm.
not knowing how aches work.
Yeah.
Or basic anatomy. All right, time for my quick fire notes. Bang.
Oh!
Marge has some funny dialogue in that starting toll booth story where she goes, "What the hello, kitty?" That to me is such a Margian cute swear.
Not even going to say heck. It could be hello, kitty. Yeah.
Although it was a bit weird when she says, "Oh, I'm squished in like the L of a BLT."
Again, I think that's kind of cute.
Yeah.
Mm.
We've learned over the course of this show that we really do love Marge. She's just adorable.
And a fox.
And how?
Why did I write Agnes for anything?
Oh, yeah, because Skinner pops all the tires. Agnes is like, Seymour, get out and change the tires. Like, Mother, I don't have 4 spare tires. You don't have 4 anything. It's like, okay.
That's a copy and paste Seymour and his mother joke.
Yeah. If they had changed that to 2, that could have been funnier because that would have implied balls.
I'm not principal of the line, Mother.
Yeah, and you never will be. Not a replicant.
But especially when they also had the previously mentioned ham radio joke, it's just, again, Skinner and his mother have a creepy dynamic.
No.
Didn't land for me. I like that Mr. Largo did get into Juilliard. I thought that was really funny, and especially contrasting that, now he's stuck removing tubers from heads.
Another carryover theme of not getting acceptance letters.
Ah, there we go.
And Skinner and Agnes, my gosh.
Jesus.
We've made too many connections.
Beach, get your string.
Red twine and a whiteboard. We'll be ready.
It's twine time.
Ralph's line, I'm C3D2. Very cute. Of course you're my son. When I mush your face, you look like me. Yeah, you can do that with the dog's butt. Again, great animation here.
I got more of a laugh than I expected. Mostly because I was expecting them to say the dog's face, but then butt.
Yeah, I'll try and gif that one for the social media pages. Where Homer's still trying to pass off as a journalist. I didn't mind the whole conversation interaction, the listeners, viewers thing.
Yeah.
I loved how committed he was.
Yeah.
Like, that kind of shook me. I was expecting it to just, like, be he's in the door and then he throws it. But he sticks with it for ages.
Yeah.
Like 3 scenes.
The back and forth where he's like, hang on, I thought you have you have
readers.
Yeah.
Why do you have listeners? Because we're a radio show. Our viewers love it. Your viewers? Yeah. It was
that
really
was
good.
The great beat. Great comedic of
steadily digging himself deeper.
And a nice way for him to reveal himself.
Absolutely.
It wasn't super cheap. It built up and it was good. Homer was very genuine and I really appreciated that.
Yeah, he was. And the boat, which was the son I've never had.
I do like when he's looking him up and he goes, he enjoys walks on the beach and making up for lost time.
Letter writing.
Yeah.
The books of lifeguards.
Yeah. The 20th century Springfieldian lifeguards.
And they had fry cooks, A to G.
This is a well-documented city.
Yeah, they're really into keeping good track of the genealogy.
I'm going to say that feeds into the clone theory of Springfield.
Yeah?
They're just keeping track of everybody.
Oh.
Makes you think.
Grandpa's whole thing, I'll do any test, a memory test, a something test, a memory test, another test.
Could have been funny if they spaced him out, because he goes through enough. You could have brought up memory tests like 3 times without, repeating it directly.
Yeah. Or even having it shorter. A hearing test, a driving test, a memory test, a reading test, a driving test.
Memory test.
Yeah. Like, just keep it going as a loop. The dementia jokes are funny.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, like, he may be an idiot, a layabout, a communist, but he is not a porn star.
So Grandpa says to Mason at one point, poop on your fist or poop in your fist?
Poop in your fist, yeah.
Is that a saying?
I'm a Google. Shit, I really don't want to. Okay, I said I'd do it. I'm doing it now.
You're going to start having Facebook targeted ads. Rubber gloves.
Okay, I'm mostly happy to say there are no hits.
Oh, good.
The top one was Ask Reddit, do you ever think you're going to die from a shit? So, not as bad as it could have been.
Yeah.
That's a shame. Metaphorical poop in a fist.
Yep, in a metaphorical fist. I do like the follow-up line of, well, at least I can make both.
Yeah, which was worth it for that line, but also I don't know that anyone has ever said poop in your fist.
You say that now. We've said it a few times now, and it'll continue.
All right, guys, I think we're good. Time to rank this thing. BT, kick us off.
I walked away thinking, okay, I'm on a Patissa bronze where I'm going to land, and I think even though it's got a better plot structure, there's just not really a lot of laughs, and there's not quite the heart I want, so I'm going to participant.
All right.
It's fine. It's passable. It's just not hitting any quite high enough for me to really engage with it beyond, just good job, buddy. Just
It's a pat on the head participant.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Oscar, how would you like to rank this thing?
Participation as well.
Yeah.
When it finished, I was shocked that it was over. I was like, that was very short, and
it felt like we were ramping to bigger things that we just didn't hit.
Yeah, it's another carryover theme of just like unfulfilled promises of the premise.
Yeah.
My final note was, this was short and forgettable.
Yeah.
I didn't take many notes because I was just like, I'm not seeing a lot that's hooking me. And not particularly bad. It isn't bad. But yeah, participation.
All right, fair enough. I'm going a bronze for this one, and mostly because I think I would watch it again, and sort of one of our philosophies is if you'd at least watch it again, it probably deserves a bronze, but I mean, that's not a prerequisite. I do like, just for me personally, I feel like it just gets over that line. But again, I can absolutely see where no one else would want to watch this one again. Because, yeah, I think you put it best. It just doesn't live up to its promises or potential or anything. But overall, this will be a shiny participant. This will be joining other such episodes as Homer's vs. Dignity, Simpson Safari, where they go to Africa, Regarding Margie, where they do the amnesia story with Marge, Marge Gamer, where she gets addicted to WoW, The Bob Next Door, where Sideshow Bob peels off his face and puts someone else's face on his face.
I want to take my face off.
That was a good cage. Love is a Many Strangled Thing, and also Dangers on a Train. So another segment that we like to do on our show is that reputation justified?
We're still coming out with theme music.
Fire our composers.
God damn it. It's your show now. We just got fired.
Yeah. Ryan J. Budke of the TV Squad gives this episode a strong positive rating, quoting its ingenuity and charm.
What does that even mean? A strong positive?
Go home, you're drunk.
Yeah.
I don't know. They don't have a rating letter or something for this one, but he calls it a funny episode, lots of heart, and that it was a great episode by comparing it alongside his other favourite season 17 episode, The Girl Who Slept Too Little.
Oh, that is pure participant.
Yeah, which is one of the most participative of all participants. Yeah,
that's like a baseline for participation.
Yeah, so I don't think that reputation is justified.
That reviewer is not justified.
All right, guys. Well, that does it for our teens episode, and we're finally getting all the way to the classic era.
Woo-hoo. Finally.
We're going to watch The Secret War of Lisa Simpson. We'll be back. And we are back, and we just watched our classic and final episode for the evening. This was Season 8, Episode 25, The Secret War of Lisa Simpson. It was first released in May of 1997. It was written by Richard Appel, and in this episode, Bart pulls a prank at the local police station and gets him in a whole world of trouble, so Marge and Homer decide to send him off to military school, but shock horror, Lisa wants to go too. You know this episode, it's Lisa and Bart go to military school episode. It's great. Guys, what'd you think?
Smashing.
Yeah.
So what a treat. A delight.
Totally delightful.
Yeah, well, it taps into, like, I feel, because Lisa on Ice is this season as well, isn't it?
Season 6.
It's tapping into that thing. Like, in I think especially in, like, season 8 and 9, there are a few episodes, like the Millhouse in Love one, like ones that really hit back to what those earlier seasons, the less wacky, more relationship dynamic, and
more character driven and less whack driven.
Yes.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's nice to see Lisa focused episodes as well, where it sort of feels like it's starting out as a Bart episode, and then
with one of the classic the testing
prank.
Isn't that golden?
And I just love the ringing sound afterwards.
Yeah, and everything about that joke was great. The way he's just like, it takes him too long to figure out, Wait, now I've got it. And then, the actual lining up the megaphones and like the fly going past just show you how much impact this is going to have.
Oh, it's so good.
We're already kind of cringing before it happens.
Yeah. And I'd be interested to know how they drew this as well, because this is still in the hand-drawn era, and like the way that sound wave pulsates.
There's some really gorgeous animation in this episode.
Yeah, and just charming animation too. This episode was just a total delight. But BT, what's a story moment that stood out to you?
I do like that for several years the moon has fascinated many.
Democratic hopeful Adelaide Stevens.
No, I really like the parallel between Bart's on this field trip to the police station, but Chief Wiggum shows up late in just a hilarious. I think we were all laughing before, and there's pounding on the door. He's like, it's getting harder and harder to get here by 10.
He curbs his car. He's shaving, and he's still got a towel around his neck.
The fact that Krabappel tries to open it and then knocks.
Yeah, and so you got that opening, that whole sequence with Bart is great, and then you got Lisa's where she's just watching movie after movie after movie.
Sand. That was the sand film.
Yeah, and then when she's talking to Skinner, it's like, we've had 2 movies, 3 something else, and then an hour and a half of magazine time. Which is just, one of those kind of...
I miss magazine time.
That sounds great. Yeah, it's a really good way to illustrate that she's just flat out not challenged without beating you over the head in this. And even, okay, Bart gets in trouble for pulling a prank, but he's obviously bored as well because Wiggum's just pointing out all the banana stickers in the com room, or the com rom. Com room.
I won't be getting up anytime soon. I need to get off my feet.
That's one that I don't actually know that I heard it on any of my previous listenings, but after he sits down, I ain't getting up anytime soon.
I swear I never noticed, he doesn't call it the com room, he calls it the com roo.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, because he's shortening the word room, I guess.
Yeah, I swear I never noticed that before. Yeah,
the communications room or the com room.
Yeah. I was like, am I here? Am I just
missed that.
Do I have a cold where I can't hear M's? And it's like, no, he's definitely saying com room.
Bees is teas.
Yeah. That whole opening sequence with the field trip at the police station was amazing.
And we do just quickly have the great moment of, so here's a hippie pot party. While he's lighting up a doobie, his old lady has another idea. A California cheeseburger.
And as a long-time stoner, I must say, that is a delicious damn burger. And I like, he's playing acid rock on a stolen guitar. It's just such typical reefer madness.
Yeah. You do one pot needle and you'll die immediately. Yeah.
This may shock and educate you.
Yeah. Okay. But in that, you get so many great quotable jokes, but you also get the plot line of, okay, Bart gets a reason to misbehave, but also the fact of just how boring the school life is. So that feeds into how Lisa's not challenged and it works so well.
Yeah, and shows that he's not disciplined and how his mind will wander as well.
Yeah, while still making you laugh a whole bunch and telling us what a California cheeseburger is.
Yep.
I need to incorporate that more into my life.
Yep.
Come get your California cheeseburgers down at the Acid House on Highway 52.
Mm-hmm.
Acid House.
Groovy. And just going back to that scene with Lisa and Principal Skinner, there was no potential that anything would get better for her in that scene as well, where Skinner goes, oh, if it wasn't you in here, it'd be the stupidest students furrowing their brow trying to understand the
situation.
So fucking good. Yeah, so Oscar, what's a story moment that stood out to you?
The heart.
Yeah?
The particular moment is they're at military school and she's listening to the tape.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
And she's listening to that on her bed alone, and we don't undercut it with a joke. We give it the weight that it deserves, that makes us more invested in this episode as it goes out and we see Bart looking the other dorm. It's just this beautiful moment.
Yeah, and coloured as well. It's all in those dark blues and that yellow coming in from the light. And
she's like, the room's dark and she's got the light billowing in from the window.
They kind of pan out, just show how empty it is. And it's beautiful. That absolutely got me in the thumb.
Showing her, like, the way they show her isolation in this episode is beautifully done.
Definitely. It was really striking the balance that they were getting with Bart and Lisa's relationship in this episode, where she was encouraging him at first and then he starts succeeding and then she needs a boost and he's not there. Yeah,
which is something I think I kind of missed the first couple of times watches, is that bit where he's like, oh, I can't do this, I want to go home. And she starts, when they're scrubbing the brass statue's horse's butt. It's like, no, they're just hazing you and they'll accept you and then you'll be fine. And that's the little push he needs. And then, I never really quite noticed that she's there for him and then not in return. Yeah. Great.
So, they managed to make it work by having him still with her and, trying to train her up for the Eliminator at the end, which I thought was another great heart moment, which absolutely bled into when they actually do the Eliminator. And he breaks out and it's like, no, I don't care about my reputation anymore.
Yeah, especially when that other kid grabs him, tries to muffle his mouth, and he kind of just shrugs him off. Like, piss off.
Yeah. He pushes forward, shouting it out. It's gorgeous. Bees. Bees.
Ah. Oh, that was excellent. I'd say the story moment that stood out to me was actually how good Bart was at this. And maybe it's more of this theme that we're tapping into of Lisa's pride in that she thinks she would be good at this.
She wants a challenge she can do,
Yeah, in a challenge I can do.
In a very famous line I've definitely quoted myself. I don't want this to be hard. I want a challenge I can do.
Yeah. Yeah, and their dynamic, was just amazing in this episode. So, play count. How many times do you think you've watched this episode before tonight?
Maybe a dozen, 15.
Yep.
15 times. I feel like it is one of those ones that I used to always catch on TV.
Sure.
I'm very familiar with it. But as a hallmark of a great classic episode, every single time I watch it, there are things I'm still picking up that I've never seen before.
Absolutely.
They're so densely packed.
Yeah.
It's delicious, like a Californian cheeseburger.
One all beef baby in between two delicious buns and mayonnaise.
Horrifying.
BT, how many times?
I'm going to say roughly about the same as the number of push-ups I can do, so 10.
Really?
No,
Shit.
I'm lying. I'm like buff as hell. No.
Listeners at home do not know.
Let them believe. I'm doing them right now.
We are currently recording this podcast sitting on a 2x4 that is balancing on Beach's shoulders.
Yep, you're hearing testosterone. That was me.
Yeah, look, I've seen this probably a good 20 or 30 times. Season 8 is absolutely my jam. This would have been from when I was VHS taping all of this stuff. Yeah, I remember it like the back of my hand. And ultimately, did this feel like an episode of the... Yep.
Definitely.
Yeah. The heart's there, the comedy's there. I really like Lisa's turn of, when Homer's all, you're staying in military school, and so am I. And I was like, ooh, that's where this is going.
Yeah, absolutely. The characters felt like themselves the whole time. I can't think of a moment when anyone was off. And the show as a whole, like, even though it's sort of become Simpsons kind of their thing round about this point to do the first act that is largely removed from the rest of the show, this one's still thematically tied into the rest of it.
It was so tight. The whole structure, everything fed in. There was, like, we noticed that at the beginning, it was a really short couch gag, really short opening.
Yep.
This episode is so densely packed. And what shocked me was how little almost like non sequiturs there were. There are really no background gags. There's not a whole lot. It is so much story that they're focusing on.
I mean, there's no B story, and I would want to go through it again and see, is there any scene that doesn't advance the plot?
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure no, but I'd have to really look at it. But yeah.
Well, yeah, even if it didn't, like, I'd say it'd just establish the characters at least, because even you had that gag of, like, Bart running away and the cops sort of picking him up immediately.
Oh, I love that.
And then it was repeated again at military school. It's fantastic. I was actually, in doing my research for today, just wanted to check out the writer, Richard Appel. He has written some fucking classic episodes. He was the one that wrote the first Mona Simpson episode.
Oh.
Which turns out was named after his wife, who...
Mona.
Who was coincidentally Mona Simpson.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Yeah, novelist as well. He also wrote Bart on the Road, the wad for Bart After Dark.
You're going to buy some wigs or get out of here.
No, remember, we're parked under the sun sphere.
Yep, the Burlesque House episode. When Apu gets married to Manjula, and When You Dish Upon a Star. That was okay. The Ron Howard and...
Yeah, it's... he just wanted to meet Ron Howard.
And Basinger.
Basinger.
Bass singer. That's right.
We had a long conversation.
We had to work it out. Because Alec Baldwin, we nail that name.
Yeah.
But bass singer. So how about the wackiness of this episode? An entire sound wave destroying a town and no one having permanent ear damage. That's...
Grandpa runs out of things to say.
Who would have seen that coming?
I do like his opening where it's like, he's talking about getting to the North Pole ahead of the Three Stooges. It's like, God damn.
The grenade launch, giving Bart a grenade launcher.
Yeah.
Which he promptly, 4 out of 5 targets. Impressive.
You missed the last one, did I?
That was a beautiful smash cut.
Yeah.
And a perfect use of ha-ha.
Yeah, absolutely. It was actually so cartoony, the way he had the black charred face from the explosion.
He's holding the keys. He was just about
to unlock it. There's a crater in front of him. Yeah.
Truly excellent. I do want to go back to that bit of Grandpa rambling on her, but I made it away with the turnip.
Decided to quit the Coast Guard.
Yeah. I thought the unfortunate thing with that was he goes, maybe other people want to use the phone, and then they all go, no, I've already talked to her for 20 damn minutes. That doesn't seem connected to me. like maybe other people need to use the phone.
But like other calls and they all reference, I don't want to talk to her.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my problem. It doesn't seem connected.
Yeah. True.
Yeah. It's probably one of the weaker moments, but even then, like, in the moment.
Yeah.
In the moment, you get past it.
It's still funny, the idea that she's already talked all the old people's ears off.
Anything with Jasper. More Jasper.
Definitely putting this in the Jasper playlist. Yeah, other wacky moments. Yeah, I guess a lot to do with the hazing. You know, fortunately they didn't go to any extremes of, scrotum drinking or anything like that.
Right.
But, it's being spun on a plane propeller.
That's gonna, kill you.
Yeah.
The whole idea of the Eliminator.
Yeah.
It's like they play it serious enough, but the whole thing of the Supreme Court.
The way it's introduced, I wish I could remember the whole thing, but it's just, that is a 500-foot hand over hand on a rope with a blister factor of 12.
They say something about like an English acre.
English acre of like thorns, and of course they're English thorns because they're just more bitter.
Yeah. That was great, but they didn't feel that wacky in the context of the episode because everything tied in.
Yeah.
I thought the joke of Lisa having the gun stuck on autofire was a little too much, maybe, but I mean, I don't know how else you'd play that scene out for laughs.
And them with their fingers in their ears yelling, saying they don't hear anything. I was like, that justifies it for me. I'm like,
yeah, I don't know. I guess I just didn't want her flying through the air because, I mean, they're guns. She's probably going to shoot someone.
Yeah, and since you went through public education, I assume that you're proficient in small arms.
Yeah, 1997.
Oh.
What a different time.
Yeah.
2 years before Columbine.
Yeah, oh my God. And the last episode had the chalkboard gag of, I am not smarter than the president. Yep.
I was like,
update that joke.
different time.
So just going back to the heart of this episode, again, I don't think we can circle this point enough. It was just beautiful, the relationship with Bart and Lisa here.
Come on, if your heart doesn't break a little hearing Marge sing "You Are My Sunshine" in that dark blue pan, God.
Yeah.
I'm a robot and I felt that. I drew a little sad face.
You recognized from your little cheat card of what human
emotions count as, and that's
your heart went from 0 to 1.
Yeah. That don't happen often. Especially helping her train on the Eliminator. I really also like the cadets are going to throw their meatballs at you.
Yep. And it's almost good that she's not calling him out for being a bit two-faced here because I guess that she gets why.
Yeah, he kind of knows.
They're
and
so
she
understanding
gets
of each other.
Yeah.
Like they are so. It is the whole thing of they are together. They go there as siblings, having that family relationship.
Yeah,
and they never lose that. It's not like he gets swept up and like he forgets her a little bit, but he still is there for her in secret.
Yeah, but also she wanted this and he never wanted to go here, so there's that as well, and obviously a bit of her pride. And
definitely
I think it wouldn't have had the same payoff if she was saying, no, you need to support me. It would have felt a little, wouldn't have been bad, but I feel like it would have just been a little different because she asked to be here, and I think that she gets why he doesn't.
Her integrity stays intact.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I think it's sort of just an unspoken thing that she knows that if he were to show her more support, they'd probably turn on him in an instant and put him through much worse things than we're gonna
make your life a living hell for the rest of the semester. Graduation's in 3 hours. We gotta go change.
I love that. It's a funny version of a cop-out ending.
Yeah.
Totally.
Well, we also know this was the last step of their education, so they've all finished the Eliminator.
It blows my mind that this episode takes place over half a year.
In theory,
yeah.
They come in mid-semester and then they graduate.
Yeah, so Lisa graduates great too. So I guess this is technically the last episode.
Yeah, ever. Since they'll never go past
Time has
that.
actually passed.
Yeah. So yes or no?
Yeah, sure.
Totally.
Yes.
Yes. We are going to watch this again. What playlist does it belong in?
Sibling relationships.
Yeah, definitely.
Ropes with a blister factor of 12.
Simpsons in the armed services, when Homer goes to the Navy.
The Army,
and the Army. Wow, he's done that a bunch now.
Yeah. Skinner going back to the Army as well, if you want to type it into just armed forces in general.
Yeah, definitely.
Lisa having challenges. Like her going up a grade.
Yeah, definitely.
She wants to be the big fish, little pond.
Yeah, big fish, big fish. Lisa biting off more than she can chew, absolutely.
Bart being good at things.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which warms my heart every time it happens. I'm like, I'm so happy to see him succeed and do well.
When he's given the right environment, he does really well. Like, think about, you want to change up Bart's education, go to when he's homeschooled.
Yep.
That could be a playlist for you, and there's probably a couple others I can't think of.
Oh, well, when he does the ride-along with the police, and then he starts becoming the school hall monitor, like, that's another one where...
That's a good episode.
Yeah, he surprisingly succeeds at somewhere no one ever thought he would.
And there's a similar thing with the Bart-Lisa relationship in that one.
Definitely.
Where she starts being a bit badder, hanging out with the bad girls and stealing the textbooks.
Yeah, and they sort of have this almost character flip, but you still buy it because they're still within the confines of their character. They're just sort of stretching their character's limits, I guess.
Yeah, and you watch you see the progression.
Definitely.
It's not like the later ones where it just can turn on a dime, it just flips for no particular reason, whereas these ones are about the story, and we watch a story progress and a character have an arc and them go from here to there, and there's change, and it's satisfying to watch.
Yeah, definitely.
Storytelling.
Satisfying is satisfying, delightful. These are the key words of this episode. Guest stars of the episode. Do you guys know who played the Commandant?
Was it Arlie Erming again?
Oh, Happerblap. Was it Colonel Happerblap? Was Arlie Erming?
I'm guessing, but I mean, you have a military thing, you put Arlie.
I mean, I know, I'm just sort of...
Right, well, then just tell me, you jackass.
Did you pick up who it might be?
No. It was on the tip of my tongue.
It was Willem Dafoe.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know.
I know. He doesn't have that normal craziness that's normally in his voice.
He's doing one of them acting things.
He's doing the
It's not
acting,
being
yeah.
him.
Go figure.
I love it. I love it when the cameos are characters.
Yeah.
And when you don't realize, like, what is it? Lovejoy's kid.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Meryl Streep.
That still blows. I really want to see footage of that. I want to see
Yeah.
that voice coming out of her mouth. It doesn't make sense to me, but damn your versatility, Meryl Streep.
Incredible. That is what.
Yeah.
That's the golden standard. That's the Streep's.
Yeah, she was playing a 10-year-old girl convincingly.
Yeah.
Totally convincingly. She fit in with the rest of the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also really like Michelle Pfeiffer's as Mindy, which is one I didn't know for ages. Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing with bringing in these guest actors to do a big part in the episode, they've got to sound like they do sound like they're from the Simpsons universe. Because they've got a relatively small voice cast, you get sort of used to the overall tone of the characters.
Yeah.
And yeah, I thought he fit right in with this. And
Yeah, until you said guest stars, I had not thought about it at all.
yeah, because it is just sort of a generic army man voice.
Yep.
Yeah, but Willem Dafoe just fucking nailed it, especially that big graduation speech at the end.
I did like that.
All the wars you'll be fighting are in space, or on a tall mountain.
Your duty will be clear. Building and maintaining tiny robots that will do the fighting for you.
I love that it's little tiny robots.
Yeah.
It's the future. It's 1997.
What a time to be alive.
I'm trying to remember any of his other lines because I felt like he had a few good ones.
One of the things that I never picked up before were we have female singers,
Yeah, he's like-
female motorists.
Yeah, a female cadet. He's like kind of looking out the window. I was like, well, I suppose these are the times we're living in. Yeah.
But yeah, then he's like, okay, singers, motorists, I guess we're there now.
That is hilarious. I don't know if you saw, there's a great sign gag for Rommelwood Academy where they're at. It's a tradition of heritage.
Tradition of heritage.
Oh, yeah, and when he does move all the students from the dorm to make room for Lisa, and they go, well, you're going to be moving in with Company L.
Company L, but they smell.
I'm aware of the chant. It was just really good understated comedic acting because it isn't a funny character.
No.
So to make him doing anything wacky or overly comedic wouldn't fit. But yeah, the fact that he's got those stern moments of, well, I suppose we have women drivers, women singers. It's time.
Lights out. Lights out. Lights on. Lights out.
Perfect. Musical moments of this episode. I didn't note anything in particular.
You are my sunshine.
Oh, of course.
Whack bang, so much heart.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was what I wanted to say about that song is they did a really clever thing where they started out the tape, it's just Marge singing, but then the episode score just slowly creeps in volume and just adds so that when they do hit that final moment before the act break and Bart's like looking out the window at her, the full orchestra's in and just really set the mood. Yeah, that was quite beautiful.
Crying.
And then I'm not crying, you're crying.
You're crying.
You're crying on my face. That's why it looks like I'm crying. BT, is there anything you'd change about this episode?
No.
Oscar, is there anything you'd change about this episode?
Potentially the final moment.
Yeah?
I kind of find them ending up at the dentist just a little bit undercut.
Yeah,
I don't mind it. I
get what you're saying from the sense that it's a bit, Mom.
Yeah,
and it's a callback to the earlier bit, so I appreciate that. It's set up well. It's
into the setup. The when they park, it looks like a big full car park, and so you're like, you actually kind of believe it for a second.
Well, potentially it is because I have seen it so many times.
Yeah,
that I know it's coming. Whereas if I'd never seen that.
Yeah. Or I guess like this time knowing it was coming, I was kind of like, okay, when is the first moment you'll notice? And then I'm like, not really until they hit the sign.
No,
so.
it's when you see the look on their face.
Yeah, this must be like the Walmart of dentists as well. I mean, this is a huge parking lot.
Oh yeah, they got people coming through really quickly.
Yeah.
Bulk buy teeth, yeah.
Yeah, look, I don't know where I'd change anything about this episode. It was expertly written. I've already mentioned a couple of points that I'm like, yeah, but even then, I don't really have good ideas of how to fix them either.
There's no inherent... The story structure is so strong that it's okay to have a few jokes that don't land as hard, because that isn't a problem, because there's heart, there's laughs, there's enough of everything else to get you through.
Absolutely.
You can't expect every single joke to be side-splitting.
Yeah.
And like you forgive it because it has so much more to offer.
Absolutely. BT, any other notes?
Military school. Yeah, that set my brother straight. Now he owns and operates a famous cave.
He said cave there. Because I didn't hear what he said.
Yeah, I swear I've never heard that before somehow. And I was mid drink of Coke when I nearly spit take. That, and of course, how can we have not talked about it's like a great knot tire trying to tie a knot in the middle of a knot tying competition. Sorry, I was just looking at my shoes. I'll support you in secret, like a sock maker working on a secret.
Stop looking at your feet.
I've quoted that so many times over the years. It's just funny. I feel like that's exactly how the writer came up with it as well. He was like, all right, how do I get out of this scene? And oh my God, this is brilliant. God, I'm so funny.
But to throw to a quick Jordan's helicopter
in the corner.
Yep. So you can clearly see when Lisa's practicing going across the eliminator, there's no rope on her. And then when she falls, there's a rope. I mean, what are we supposed to believe? This is some sort of magic rope?
Whenever you see something like that, a wizard did it.
Yes, welcome to the Wizarding World Conspiracy.
Yep. A cartoon. It doesn't need to make sense.
We have a running concept that the Illuminati is actually run by wizards. You need proof. Illuminati symbol is a triangle. What shape is a wizard's hat? Yeah.
God, man.
I got more.
Wizards did
everything. They're all like, oh, the earth is hollow. No, the earth is flat. It was both. Wizards changed it. God.
They change it on a whim.
Whenever they feel like it.
Yep. Oscar, did you have any other notes?
I'm so glad we snuck out to town. That was some good corn. Or anytime there's a joke like that.
Overly wholesomeness.
So overly
Yeah, they're not sneaking out to do drugs or go get laid from
really good corn.
Have you had this corn? I like the little back and forth. It was like, what are you doing? Nothing. What are you doing? Also nothing. Okay. Carry on.
We will.
There's three moments, I think. The shot of Homer screaming out no after all of his beers explode is beautifully done.
He's also watching his eyes dart between each
what
one.
About, no, one in my hand. No!
Yeah, there's those certain shots. The shot where Lisa first looks up the ladder of the Eliminator. Just those moments that really punch in the emotion and punch in that feeling.
They really give you a sense of vertigo with that as well.
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, like you said, yeah, the rope thing was a bit of a cop-out, but like that you feel the danger as she's falling as they do that like weird double zoom thing.
Yeah, you can understand the Supreme Court's decision to end barbaric.
I do love the fake out of, well, they've decided it's too barbaric. You'll be the last class to do it.
Yep. Like, damn it. And who was the first one that was Anderson, you're up.
Just attacking it.
Yep. Yeah, coming back to the sonic boom, the sound wave, and the pet store. I love that as well. The parrots immediately start going, testing. I love that was all Bart said as well, testing. He didn't like take the opportunity to say but or...
He was just testing.
He didn't get a chance.
That
he
was
had
his
no
test.
idea this was about to happen.
That's amazing. Did you have any other notes?
Here, take this. If there's a war, blow it and I'll come and help you. Giving her the whistle.
Patronizing motherfucker.
While he's putting these notes together, we do have another question, which is best sandwich.
It's on the Simpsons Index where I've got a secret part of the website where we're building together the Simpsons Index sandwich board. So if you were to have a sandwich named after you, what would be that sandwich?
A Simpsons sandwich?
No,
just your sandwich.
Oh, my sandwich.
What is the Oscar?
Oh, what is it called? The Oscar, and I tell you what's on it?
Yep.
Yeah.
So like the Elliot, which is just like overload of salami and pepperoni and a bit of Kewpie mayonnaise and bit of carrot.
Mm-hmm.
I think probably there would be like caramelized capsicum.
Oh
wow.
Pineapple, lettuce, Prego sauce.
Prego.
Something that really resonates with my English-Irish heritage.
Yep.
Being that nothing from there
Prego
is on
sauce?
there.
I see. Yeah.
Pineapple, all of the thing, everything.
Those
on
are Southwestern ingredients. He's moving the podcast to Albuquerque.
Occasionally I'll be quirky.
Yep. That's a good sounding sandwich.
Yeah, and whatever meat you want.
Oh,
yeah.
Option of meat.
Yep.
It's all about the sauce and the flavors around it. I like it.
It's the experience.
Yeah, I'm on board.
Dig it, man. One of the funny thing is we've had like about 4 people so far say some variation of a Reuben, including you.
It's a good sandwich.
Yeah.
It is a pinnacle of sandwich.
I had to change mine from Reuben with chips on it because it had already been done. I think I changed to like a club with a pepperoni pizza in the middle. A lot of bread, but carbs is how I live.
It's a staple.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes it's all my staples.
Please don't waste those.
We did that recently. That was fantastic.
I can't believe how good that episode still was.
Who Shot Mr. Burns 1 and 2, yeah.
In my mind, that is what the Simpsons movie should have been.
Yeah.
That would have been good.
Like that is an epic story.
Yeah.
It was epic and it was focused.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot going on. You watch Who Shot Mr. Burns Part 2, the first kind of ad break on that is so packed with so many quotes. It's insane. That's why you've got like Dr. Colossus and...
But that's where all my stuff is.
Spitter's waking up as like a drunken wreck, and he has that dream about Speedway.
And he's
Speedway
coughing up
squad.
pills.
He's coughing up cigarette butts, yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's so good. It's ridiculous.
On the suit.
Yeah.
It's a suit. All right, time for my final quick fire notes.
I see you went to public school, so you'll be proficient with quick fire notes.
So we had another unintentional theme of moon weight, where they were watching the moon documentary.
Yeah, but no grandpa in the mall.
No, we missed out on that.
Slow down there, Tubby. You're not on the moon yet.
Yeah. A cute little bit of animation.
The graph from the Department of the Moon.
Yeah. I do love the gag with Chief Wiggum and the banana stickers. There's a Bananco, Gorilla's Choice. Because it just seems like the sort of thing that, cop or not, just any office environment, you'd have these little weird habits.
And it's like that's the end of the tour. Like that's what he's showing them after the museum
and then
of
goes
crime.
And sits down.
And so when they take Bart away and Skinner and Edna are just there in their little camper chairs and
pop champagne. And...
Nice vocal performance from Edna.
Yay!
Yeah, when the moment comes, you don't know what to say. Your tears say everything.
Yeah. Lisa, when she's noticing all the cadets, they're like the terracotta warriors of Cheyenne.
Yeah.
And Homer just throws rocks.
I think he thought they were like Buckingham Palace guards.
Yeah.
I think that's what he thought.
And again, another awesome line from the Commandant. He's like, "They're just children, Mr. Simpson." Like
it's a character with integrity.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
with not being undercut.
And
But still being hilarious and saying weird things.
When Lisa calls the family home and Homer's on the couch and just kicks Santa's little helper off and go get the phone, boy.
There must be something on this thing for that thing.
An awesome collection of words right there. And just the relief when it stops. So at the moment where Lisa almost falls off the eliminator, I just love how this scene plays out where the chant starts up and that moves into the background as the orchestral score takes over and they've got eye contact. It's just amazing. Like, there's so much heart in an unspoken scene there. Then, when Bart gives the encouragement and the orchestral score picks up again and goes a bit more major and happy, it just plays out beautifully. And you get this real feeling of Succession when Lisa gets it and it's like, oh my god, I want to do it again, let's do it again.
You can put your arms down now.
I can't.
They're stuck. Yeah. All right, well, that does it for me. It's time to rank this thing. Oscar, why don't you kick it off this time?
Whoa. Well, I'm surprised that this is season 8.
Yeah.
Even though there are episodes in season 8 that I absolutely love, I am aware that some episodes start coming in where starts dipping a little bit.
Yep, definitely.
But this one, I just had the most fun watching. Like, I love it. It is so focused and so beautifully crafted. It's got some gorgeous animation. It has the sibling relationship. So I'm probably going to top it.
Top marks with Cubic.
Yeah, Cubic Zirconia. Put it on the coffee table.
All right. Yeah, look, I want to give it a Cubic because there's a lot I love about this episode, and I'm definitely coming back and watching it again millions of times throughout my life. I don't know, I just don't have the Cubic rank in me. There's just something about this to me that says not essential, but I am giving it a gold because it is fucking excellent, and there's a lot to love. I just don't have Cubic in me personally. How about you, BT?
Is there any answer I can give that won't result in more push-ups?
No.
Damn. I'm a little split because, my brains are saying gold because I know there are episodes that are more tightly packed and more essential, effectively. But the guts are saying the Cubic because I probably still have Marge singing You Are My Sunshine in my head. It's a tough one. It's either a very high gold or a low Cubic. That's my problem. Okay, let me try my famous saying them both out loud, see which one seems.
Here we go.
I give this a Cubic Zirconia. I give this a gold. Fuck, that didn't help.
It really was in the middle.
Yeah, it feels really in the middle for me.
You flipped a coin and it landed on the side.
Yeah, statistical impossibility, but not impossible. I fucked that up.
That's not a saying.
True. I feel like I'm gonna gold. Surprise. Yep. I kind of left thinking I was gonna Cubic when we were talking about it. I think there are episodes I would consider to be more essential. I suppose it's how you do want to think about a Cubic Zirconia. Do you want to think about it as essential to the Simpsons experience or just, top tier, excellently well written episodes? I kind of feel like we have that ranking for the ones that are quintessential, that they, must be experienced to understand this show. And while this is very, very good, I just don't think it's quite there, which is a very hard call to make. I'm glad someone cubicked because I feel like it needs at least the one tick in that box.
Well, yeah, I feel like it is absolutely a personal choice with this one because, I even probably didn't expect this one to be as good as it was coming into it.
It's one of those episodes that in my mind, I'm always like, it was okay. But when I watch it, I am just drawn into it. And it's like an excellent half hour of television.
Absolutely. It's still going to be a shiny gold, and that is a fucking excellent rank. This will be only the 6th shiny gold we've ever had.
Wow.
This will be joining other episodes like 2 Cars in Every Garage and 3 Eyes on Every Fish, the one where Mr. Burns runs for mayor. Local town person? Something? Governor, yeah, that's right. Homer and Apu, when Apu comes to live with them. The 2 Nahasapima Pedalons, which we mentioned before, where Apu and Manjula get married. Sunday Cruddy Sunday, where Homer and the gang go to see a football game and don't see any
Super
football.
Bowl.
Oh, yes.
Gridiron. Americans love it when you call it that. Yes, a sports ball game. And EIEI Dole, the tobacco episode. Yeah,
that feels right.
Yep. All right, guys. Well, that about does it for episode 73 of the Simpsons Index. Good to have you on, Oscar. Thanks for coming by tonight.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me, guys.
Excellent. Can't wait to have you on again soon. And BT, thank you as always.
I live here.
Yep. All right. And I'm your host, Elliot Jay O'Neill. Hit us up on Twitter at Simpsons Index and on Facebook.com/The Simpsons Index. Do you have any socials or anything you want to plug? Or
I'm on Instagram.
Yeah,
I got some pretty strange things on there. Oscar was his name.
I dig it. And BT, your Twitter handle is at REALDONALDTRUMP, right?
Pretty sure. That's where my best comedy goes.
I feel like an internet modem sound needs to come on after that.
All right, that was the Simpsons Index. That's all the mustard in the house. Thank you for checking out the Simpsons Index podcast. Don't forget to go to www.thesimpsonsindex.com for the spreadsheet and information about upcoming episodes.
And for today's extra content,
coming at you from SideQuest Studios, this is the Simpsons Index, episode 73?
I mean, I'm assuming you know.
I thought I did. Hold on.
You're just squandering all the trust I place in you.
I'm going...
I'll get
Yeah,
there.
I'm still getting over a bit of a cold, so I still have that.
Oh, it's good. No.
It's satisfying. I'm just going to growl for a little bit.
Booby mood.
I know, I still... Booby mood. I'll watch them if I'm in a booby mood.
In the universe, I am in a booby mood.
Mother, I will watch them if I'm in a booby mood.
This is a booby documentary with Neil deGrasse Tyson.
There used to be more boobies on cable TV, but as the universe expands, there are less and less boobs per universe.